G'day everyone. This video is going to be something a bit special. This is going to be quite a heartwarming story. Let's have a little bit of a deep and meaningful. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to go and give an expensive fishing reel to a lucky kid. Now, before I tell you what's going on, I just want to give you a bit of a story, something that happened to me. Many of you will know that I've had issues in the past with mental health, with depression. I've had a few dramas over the years, on and off. Now, about 3 years ago was my last depression episode, for want of a better word. I was down the dumps, I felt worthless, I just couldn't get happy. I stopped making YouTube videos for a few months, I stopped writing in magazines for a few months, I just slipped off the radar and curled up in bed pretty much. I'd had it, you know. It took me quite a while to get better. But just before I get better, this was probably the pivotal point, this is the turning curve for me. I went to Melbourne one day. Sometimes I like to just jump on the train and go to Melbourne. I thought I won't tell anybody I'm going, I'll get on the train and I'll go down to Melbourne for the day. I'll just spend the day on my own, just hanging out, being a homie in the city, if you know what I mean. Anyhow, while I was down there, I had 150 bucks in my pocket just to buy lunch and go shopping and do what I wanted to do. But I could not get happy. Didn't matter what I'd done, I could not get happy. Every shop I went into all my favourite shops, the heavy metal shops, the camera shops. I'd look around aimlessly, then I'd just leave. Wasn't interested in anything. My mind was just so messed up and screwed up. It was a horrible, horrible, horrible space for me to be in. And then I was walking up Elizabeth Street, and there's a guy sitting on the ground there, just sitting there, just watching the world go by, a homeless fella. And he was pretty rough looking, you know. And I thought, I might go and buy him a cake. So I went into the bakery and I bought this guy, I think it was a vanilla slice or something. I said, here you go, buddy. And he looked at me and he says, thanks man, I really appreciate it, but I can't eat it. He says, my teeth are all stuffed. I can't have anything with sugar. And I thought, oh, all right, I'll go and get him something else. So I went in, I bought him a sausage roll and a diet cake. I thought, well, might as well just get myself one. So I bought us both a sausage roll and a diet cake. And I went out and I said, well, if you're not going to have my chocolate slice, let's have a sausage roll. And I sat there for probably half an hour, 45 minutes, just chatting away to this guy. He was one of the nicest guys. He had an incredible story. He'd lost both his parents in about a 2-week space. He was living at home. He'd been married. He was married. He had 3 kids. His wife shot through and went over to New Zealand, left him and took the kids with her and forged some documentation. Left him without the kids. He was down in the dumps, so he went and moved back in with his parents. He was only in his late 20s. And then they both died. One died of cancer and one died of a tractor accident. Suddenly he's got no wife, no kids, they've gone, both his parents are gone, he's got no supports around him, everything fell in a heap and he was living on the streets of Melbourne and he was sitting there having lunch in Elizabeth Street. I sat there for half an hour to 45 minutes and I made him smile. At a point in my own personal life where I was at the end, I had nothing left, I had nothing to give, I was stuffed. I was still in a better spot than him. I was down in the dumps, but I still had something to give. That is incredible. And you know what? I made his day. I made his day. I've never felt so invisible in my life as I did at lunchtime sitting on the footpath in Elizabeth Street watching all these people walk backwards and forwards. Nobody even looked at us, not one. And, you know, I made this guy so happy. He was even smiling. He couldn't thank me enough for the lunch. But you know what? It made me happy. I was down in the dumps and I gave him lunch. It made me happy. So I thought, this is good. This is ticking something over up here. This is giving me a bit of purpose. I went down with $150. I bought myself a Slayer CD and some lunch and I came home with nothing. Where'd the rest of the money go? Homeless people. Yeah, made up a couple of bucks. Here, 2 or 3. Didn't give them too much money because I was a bit sort of worried about where that money might go. But they were happy. I made them happy. I made these people happy. And it was that day that I learned about the power of giving. The power of giving. A couple of weeks ago, I gave a young fellow here in Wang a fishing rod. I didn't have to. I didn't do it for bragging rights or so people will say, wow, you're really nice, Robbie. I done it because I know all about the power of giving. It is just amazing. And I think that one of the greatest qualities in any individual is the ability to give without expectation of anything in return, even thank you. You can give something to someone and not even expect a thank you, not expect anything. Then that is the true meaning of happiness. When you can give something away, worth something, and not expect anything, that is the true meaning of happiness. Now that's going to lead us in to what this video is all about. I've got this letter. I'll tell you what I got. I got a Shimano Bantam Chronarch sent to me during the week. If I look in there, there's the reel. It is in fantastic condition. It's practically new. It's second hand, it's done a bit of work. It's got a couple of scratches on it, but it is practically in as new condition. It is an awesome reel. It's in its bag still. It's in its original box. Still got all the instructions. It's still got the oil that comes with the box, with the reel. So it's practically like buying a brand new reel. Now on the side of this reel, which I can't get back in the box, I'll do that later. On the side of the box, there's a price tag for $340. That reel, in that condition, there's got to be worth, even though it's second hand, because it's in great condition and it's originally worth $340. That guy would easily get $250 for this reel. Now, I'm not going to mention his full name, but his name's Peter. A lot of people that give don't expect any glorification. I don't know whether Peter does or not, but I don't think he does, to be quite honest. I think he just wants to see a kid happy. So Peter has contacted me and asked me, do you mind if I send you a reel because I want to make a kid happy? And I said, no worries, mate. And I gave him my post office box address. And he sent me the reel, and I couldn't believe what it was when I got it. But this letter that he sent with it really touched me. G'day, Robbie. Just finished watching your Q&A segment with your dad in it. I lost my dad last week. He got me into fishing and was my best mate. So seeing you with your dad put a smile on my face in what's been a pretty shit week for me. We spent Saturday afternoons watching all the fishing shows on TV. Then we would watch your YouTube clips of you catching cod. He loved it and reckoned you are great. So thanks for that. Reel is spooled with 30-pound braid. Hope it puts a smile on some kid's face. Cheers, Pete. That just reassures what I learnt when I was down in the dumps and I gave money away and I bought people lunch, and it made me feel better. He's having a rough time. He's just lost his father and he's given a reel away. He doesn't want any thanks, doesn't want any glory. He just wants to feel good. Pete, I've got to be honest with you, mate. When I read that letter, I shed a tear. I actually had a tear coming out of my eye, and I almost have now. I've got to admit, I'm a bit of a crier. I'm one of them people. I can go to funerals of loved ones and not even cry, no worries at all. But when people be kind to people, I have cried at work. When I've taken one of my disabled clients to work, the hairdressers fell in love with him and gave him they cut his nails for free. I had a tear in my face because that's just the sort of person that I am. You put a tear on my face that day because that is just absolutely amazing. So thank you so much, Pete. I have picked out a young kid. He is a cracking young kid. I've organised to meet up with him tomorrow at 4 o'clock when he knocks off school. I've met him around town a few times before. He is a really good kid. He works during the week and he runs the boundary for the football on the weekend. He's a very active kid and he is going to be so excited. So thank you so much, Pete. That is an amazing gesture. And that is what I consider to be one of the most Australian things anybody can do. That's what makes me proud to be an Australian. To see someone giving something of quite a lot of value away for the sole purpose of making somebody else smile. Righto folks, I've made my way to the river and I've found a kid. Well, he's not a kid, he's a teenager. Come on in. You might remember this guy. This is Hayden. I bumped into Hayden on the river one day. He's in my video. What's it called? Is it called The Best Fishing Spots in Wangaratta or something? Yeah. I'll put a link above anyway. The Best Fishing Spots in Wangaratta. Hayden's a great kid. He works at Kmart in Wang. They look after you? Yeah, they do. If you'd said no, I was going to edit that plug out. And Hayden, I want to give you this because you're a good kid. This was sent to me by a guy named Peter. He's got a reel in his shed. He just wants to give it away to a kid and put a smile on a young bloke's face. It's a Bantam Chronarch. Have a look at that. Jeez. Feel privileged, alright. That is a great reel. That's actually better than the reels that I've got on my rods. Look, that'll focus on my face, but if I touch the reel, it'll focus on the reel. How cool is that? It's a nice looking reel. That's from a guy by the name of Peter. Thank you very much, Peter. You say thank you to Peter. Yeah, thanks, Peter. Thank you, Peter. And Peter, I'd like to pass on my most sincere condolences for the loss of your father. That is not something I've been through. Both my parents are still here. They're still quite healthy. I've lost grandparents, and I'm yet to travel the path that you're travelling right now, so I can't begin to feel how hard it must be for you. So please accept my sincere condolences. Also accept my appreciation for this fantastic gift that we've given Hayden today. Have you got a rod to put it on?
Yeah, I do.
What sort is it?
7 foot. Get what?
Okay, it's a cod rod.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you very much, and thank you very much everybody for watching.
Thanks.
We're gonna go fishing one day next summer.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
I reckon we're good.